driving back from picking up this car. This is a 2001 Honda Accord. Look at the mileage on it. Whoa. But it does seem to run and drive just fine. There are no warning lights at all on the dashboard. This is just because I'm sitting in an idle. I'm actually just sitting here waiting for somebody to come out of good old Wally World. Everyone likes Wally World. But I'm just messing with all the features here. The windows seem to work just fine. And even this sunroof thing here. It's got the leather seats. See that? Not bad. 6-disc changer. The AC does blow cold, and it's got the automatic climate control. It's pretty dirty in here. It's got that and that. But other than the filth, which is everywhere, it seems to be running absolutely perfect, which is what I could hope for. So I'll get it home real quick, and then I can start a nice detail on it. But at first I gotta wait for this person I brought with me to come out of Walmart because I forgot a face mask. And we live in a dystopian society, dystopian, whatever you want to call it. And we have to wear masks no matter where we go. So I'll just be waiting here, pressing buttons and opening stuff up. See what's going on. See if I can find any freebies. Yeah, well, I'll cut to us at home. Well, now that I'm home, I can take a look at the cooling fans. This one works fine. This is the condenser fan, obviously. And this one, the thicker one, is the radiator fan. Now, it's not working. I already know this. It's verified. I don't have to turn on the car and show it again. And at first, I suspected the relay was bad. Let's see if I can turn this over and show you. See, cooling fan relay, which is this one right here, this Omron fuse. Or a relay, I should say. Took it out, tested it, it's perfectly fine. And then I took some more looking around and noticed this. 20 amp cooling fan relay. Can you see that? It's busted. There's a 20 amp fuse right there and it's fully busted. So if I were to take that out real quick. See if I can put that down. That's probably not helping the cooling fan work. So if I replace this, hopefully the cooling fan will come back to life. It might not. It might be that the cooling fan motor is seized and that sent a shock wave, like a little electrical impulse, and blew the fuse. That does happen. But hopefully this little fuse is all that's wrong and I will be very happy. Alright, I put the fuse in and the car is running right now. The temperature is staying where it's supposed to, but I don't think the cooling fan is working, unfortunately. I think, like I said before, I think it's seized, and that's why it blew the fuse. See right here how it's not spinning, but the condenser fan over there, that's the condenser fan, it is spinning. This one's not. I know about some of you are about to freak out what I'm about to do, and don't ever do this at home. See this? I'm spinning it by hand. It's not gonna come on. You can actually feel that it's off track. Like, you hear that? Probably not. But it's busted. The cooling fan is thoroughly busted, so that sucks. But at least we found part of the problem. That's always nice. So I took the fuse back out after inspecting everything, and it's blown. It's really hard to see on this because of the little light, but you can see the little black spot there. It's blown, so that means that there is a current backup coming from this. I bet you if I unplugged this cooling fan and then put the fuse back in, you would get no blowing fuse, because basically this thing is creating like a little EMP, a little electrical charge, and sending it up to here and blowing the fuse. So we just got to get a new cooling fan, that'll be it. Alright, we found our first Accord, but unfortunately, I'm going to go ahead and say the cooling fan is probably bad. Considering the person in this car probably did not survive, and if they did, I can only imagine. So on to our next Accord. Alright, I found a 2002 Accord, and this one is the V6. Someone has put a spindle there. But this one seems to have the cooling fan, and I don't even think it's attached. Yeah, I could just lift this out. So, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's not broken or anything. Cool. Well, we got our parts. How easy could it be? Hey, look at that thing. That is creepy looking. It's gonna try to pinch me next. While I was there at the junkyard, I even got trivial pieces like this. There you go. Now I'm not missing any of those little center caps. They charged me $3 a piece for these. That's kind of much, but at least I have them now. like I verified earlier in the video, the cooling fan is bad. That's the new one. I went to the junkyard and picked it up for 28 bucks. This is the old one. Now to take this apart, all you got to do is look at it from this angle and take off this 10mm bolt and this 10mm bolt. Then you come over here to this electrical connection down here and you grab it, like that, and you pull on it until it disconnects. I'm gonna have to do that with two hands. So once I get that disconnected and these two bolts out, all I'm gonna do is slide this hose out of the way here, pop it out of this little thing right there, and slide this connector out, and I should be able to pull the cooling fan straight up. Now looking at it, I am gonna have to unscrew this and take it and put it out of the way just like that. And you're also gonna have to pull up on this little tank. It's just, all you do is just lift up gently on it, and it comes out like that. It's the coolant tank, which has some nasty gook in it. Put that over there. So now that should be all the room I need to just simply grab this after I've moved the cables. I'm gonna need two hands for this, so give me a sec. Like I said, I just needed two hands to wiggle it free. And here is the unit that came out. This is clearly an inferior aftermarket product. I mean, clearly. See the VDO right there? Can't tell you how many of those I've had to replace. The fan is, it's like jammed basically. So this is a genuine Denso unit. And you can tell that Honda really cares about their customers, or at least used to. And the reason for that is there's only two bolts here, and the bottom of this is just two little tabs that click into place. And you don't have to press them, you don't have to pull them. All you do is unbolt this, pull everything out of the way, and slide it up. How much easier could it be? It couldn't really. It's a 5-minute job. And last time I did this on a 2016 Chevy Cruze, I'm not even gonna go into what I had to do. Whole front of the car had to come off, headlights, bumper, everything. So that's one for Honda. I'm gonna give them that little thumbs up for quality. So let's go ahead and stick this little piece right back in there. It's all back together now. See, the fan is not spinning. But if I go in and I turn on the air conditioner, just like this, there you go. Driving around in the Accord. I vacuumed it a little bit just so it wasn't horribly filthy and I could drive it around. You can see there's no warning lights on when you actually drive it. There's a little brake light that comes on occasionally because the emergency brake lever is really loose and I have to adjust that. But other than a few little rattly plastic bits, it actually drives just fine. Kind of surprised for a car with this kind of mileage on it. So I decided to find a nice quiet place where I could do a walk around of this Honda Accord. It's an 01 EXL with the V6. I slapped some random plates on it for now. The real plates are underneath obviously, but I know the previous owner and I do not want to display his plates. I'm sure he would not like that. It's got the typical paint peel that these get. Headlights have gone yellow over time. It's got the alloys, which is nice. No body damage on this side. A little bit of a scratch there. It's the EXL model, so it's got the V6 obviously. It's got the obligatory Beto O'Rourke stickers, which if you've known him or met him in person, which I have, he's not quite what comes across on the TV. A bit more of a hypocrite, but that's all right. All politicians are hypocrites. Again, random plates that I threw on that I've had since the 90s. The back is all right, no damage here. Paint peeling again. You know, strangely the roof doesn't have paint peel, even though this does, which you'd think the highest point would have paint peel, but whatever. Badge is still there. It's got a little bit of a bump here from the previous owner. Backed it into his garage door, he said. We can fix that, no problem. No damage down this side. Alloy rims are pretty nice. It's got good tires on it. Interior is clean now. I went ahead and gave it a clean. Just a small wipe down, nothing big. I still got to do the armor all and the cleaning, and I got to take out the whole center console to fix the emergency brake lever, which is, the light is stuck on because of that. Just a little tiny little switch that goes down and you depress it and it gets stuck sometimes. But the leather is pretty nice. Only got one tear in the whole front seat. Back seat doesn't have any tears and is actually rather nice. Headliner is still really good too. It's got the wood option little trim here, which is nice. That's how you know it's an EXL. Sucks about the typical El Paso paint peel, but I can probably have something done with that. I might not. I mean, this is a cheap car. It's not worth it going to the extremes that people like Auto Auction Rebuild to do. I know he has a business model in place and that's why he does it. It's for content. But for me, this is a for-profit business, so I cannot be dumping loads of money into something that I will never recoup. But that's a little bit of the exterior walk around. I'm gonna get home and do some cleaning to it. That way it doesn't look quite so ugly on the inside when you drive it. Maybe clean these headlights up and try what I can to polish some of this, but that's done for. There's not much you can do, unfortunately. Yeah, I'll catch up with you guys at home. We're at home again, and I got my stuff out that I'm going to use to clean the interior. Take stuff like this off because I do not like these whatsoever at all. And I just wanted to make a real quick note that these plates are only for display purposes. When I do a review, I do not drive around on these because they expired, a while ago. So it wouldn't work. So for all of those people out there who want to cry to their YouTube mommies, don't worry, I don't drive around on these damn plates. That would be stupid. Like I said, I took everything out. All you do is pull up on the cup holder and then start to slowly pry off the, I guess you'd call this a console, like a faux wood console boot shifter area. And you just pry up on these little tabs and it lifts out. Now, that little Phillips head screw right there, that's the other side of the switch. And if you look down here, I move this out of the way. See that little white thing right there? That little switch? That's a switch. I gotta get in there and lubricate it and maybe push the contact a little farther forward, and that should stop the issue I'm having. I took these little pliers, these little flat nose pliers, and just bent the tab back that's down in there. Right there's the switch, and there's a little tab that goes over it that you really can't see, unfortunately. And I just bent it down, that way it contacts the tab better. And I put a bit of this Zoom spout oiler on there to oil the contact. So now when you release this, you can feel it click down the button all the way. Before you would feel that it wouldn't click. Now it clicks. So that's fixed. I already verified the light goes off. Now I just got to put all this stuff that I cleaned back in. See, I cleaned all the crud out of there. Well, I'm done with the interior cleaning. Came out pretty good. There's no more nasty junk between everything, which is nice. No more junk down in there. No more stuff in there. Still a couple of things I got to clean up. Could use another vacuuming probably. But now, tomorrow, I'm going to say, because I don't have any more time today, I have to remove the rear tail light and fix the bumper that's sticking out. You know, this right here. That's going to be pretty easy. Just got to take this out and then, you know, put a bolt through it. And then I've also got to clean the headlights and take this whole dash piece here apart because there's a cabin air filter that hides way up underneath here, under this, and you got to take everything out. And after that, it should be good to go. But that's going to be tomorrow. Now you can see I remounted the screw in a location that's a lot better. It keeps the bumper sitting nice and flush without sticking out, and it also helps with the rigidity of what's left of this little plastic piece. So all I'm going to go ahead and do is take this taillight and put it back on, bolt everything down, and hopefully it'll look better. There we go. I think that looks a lot better. Now I've got to move on to checking all the brake pads, and we've got to remove the cabin air filter and change the transmission fluid. So I went online and it said that occasionally the brake pads get low, and that's one of the reasons the brake lights come on. So I checked all four wheels. Pads were fine. They're actually pretty meaty. They're almost new, so that's not the issue. Then I came under the hood because I saw online it said, well, also occasionally what happens is this float lever sensor in this brake master cylinder reservoir goes bad. So I was like, all right, let me take a look, and I can see a problem already. I did not loosen that. It was already like that by itself. Now this must be the lever, the little float they're talking about, and it clearly still works. This thing. So I think all I have to do is screw it back down. Yep, that was it. When I took this off, it was not even slightly connected. So that probably answers that. Did a real quick polish on the headlights and they came out real nice. This one's nice and clean. That one still needs a second polish because it came out clean, but it also still has a bit of a yellow tinge to it. So I'm happy about that. But I gotta get out of this sun, man. It is hotter than hell today. So off to the garage to work on some more stuff. So the sun's going down now. I'm trying to block you guys as best I can. But I've taken apart basically the entire passenger side of the dashboard on this Honda Accord just to get to the air filters, which were located right here. To avoid blinding you, I'm going to try to avoid going over the dash, but you have to take the side panel off, the lower panel off. There's some kind of bar here that has to come off, that thing that has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts in it. 8 Phillips head screws, I should say. And then you got to take another little bar off right here and slide it out from this little area back here. It's just so you can pull the filter out, and it's a double filter. This one's obviously clogged, no wonder the AC was performing marginally at best. But this is quite a process. Honda does not want you taking that air filter out. But at least that's done now. I can go get the new filter and it'll be easier to put it back together. My fluid came in, so next we're going to go ahead and do the transmission fluid flush. Not a flush, but just like a refill, because it desperately needed it, and you have to use the genuine fluid. So that'll be coming up next once I get this thing back together. Back home from the store, those are the filters. It's a 2-piece filter, 3013 is the number. $22 freaking for a filter, but at least you can see the clear difference. So I'm gonna button everything back up and hopefully get onto the transmission flush. It's a very windy new morning, and upon inspecting this transmission, I didn't realize that this is a sealed unit. There is no dipstick to check the fluid. If you look down there, see that nut? It says ATF on it. So you need to get a big old extension like I have here with a 17mm on the end and break it loose. You always got to break the fill plug loose first. So I can't check the level. I'm just going to have to put exactly what goes into what came out, you know what I mean? Exact same amount. And down here, after you break the fill nut, oh, hey little balls, what are you doing? You gonna help me out? Yeah? Maybe you want a little helper? Anyway, this nut right here, which is not really a nut, it's more of like a little peg thing, that is the second thing that you loosen and drain all the fluid from. So now that I've loosened the top nut, I'm gonna go ahead and start loosening this one. There's the fill plug, like I said, 17mm. Do not lose this little washer that goes underneath the nut. You absolutely need that. It goes like that. Don't lose it. Alright, what color of fluid do we suspect of coming out? I'm gonna say not black, but like definitely not clean either. Maybe like a weird, nasty, ugly pink. Ah! Oh man, and I cut myself. Look, right in that exact spot. That hurts. The fluid is quite dirty though. That's pretty nasty. And this bowl is filling up rather quickly, even though it said it. This fluid on the transmission only has 3 quarts of fluid in it. Oh, a chunk came out. Let's take a look at this magnet. That's not bad. It's got some gook. What are you doing over there, low balls? You can't, do not drink that. Do not. No, go away. Go away, don't drink that. You'll doom us all. Start some kind of new virus or something. Anyway, this plug is, woof. It's grunky and it's junky, but there is no chunkies on it. And that's what we were hoping for. Now it's time for the filling. And before anyone craps their little panties and says, but you didn't change the filter, and you didn't change the pan gasket. This transmission has no pan gasket and it has no filter. Yep, and Honda in their infinite wisdom did not include that. They did include a cartridge style filter that is located inside the transmission, which would require a complete removal, which is definitely not happening. But they did not include a standard transmission filter or gasket, just so we're all aware. And we don't have to cry. That's number 2. Just got one more to go. I just started it up. Now what I gotta do is start meshing through the gears. It is hopping around quite a bit. It does hop around quite a bit in these lower gears. Feels good now though. Alright, well, I gotta take it for a drive in a minute, and I'm interested to see if the AC fix I did, you know, cleaning out the filter and all that crap, actually made it any colder. So we're doing a gentle 30 now, but whoops, that's a construction zone. My bad. And there's a police officer right there. Very nice. Oopsie daisy. Anyway, the transmission shutter that was there is 100% gone. This thing shifts perfectly in every single gear now. I'm going to take it up on the freeway just to make absolutely sure. Oh, and the air conditioning is blowing ice cold now instead of lukewarm. Okay, let's not do that in a construction zone again. Does the old saying prove true? If you change the transmission fluid on an automatic transmission that has over 250,000 or so miles, you know, high mileage transmission, first time fluid flush, will it completely ruin the transmission? No. I drove this thing around for 45 minutes on the freeway even, nothing was wrong. If anything, the transmission went back to shifting just like it did when it was new, which is fantastic. So for those of you who like to whinge and bitch and whine and complain and say, oh, you'll blow the transmission, that's because you don't work on cars. There you go. Now, I have one more thing to do to this jalopy. This paint peel, it's just not that bad, but I don't like it personally, is going to be taken care of. I'm taking it to a specialist who I know personally who will do a fairly good job, I'm hoping. So that'll be the last part of this video, and then I can get it on its merry way. And we can get to having a few more cars. That one is not for sale. That is my dad's car that I'm fixing. Well, you know what the empty space means? It means the Accord is now gone. I did take it to the specialist and have them look at the paint on the hood. Unfortunately, they really couldn't do much for me, and the price to do a repaint was really expensive. I went to the junkyard and I couldn't find any hoods that weren't dented. They did have good paint, but they were all dented. So unfortunately, I just drove it down to the lot as is, basically. Mechanically, it was fine. It ran fantastic, but it just looked not great. It's already gone, which is cool. It gives me time to work on the Focus finally, which every part has finally arrived for. It only took 2.5 weeks to get all the parts. The Vibe, I've already done a lot of work to, and I mean, this obviously is just not great. But the problem is I redid the oil pan on this vehicle, and it's still pissing oil, and a lot of oil, and I don't know why. But that's okay. This one will be the mechanic special. Anywho, thanks for watching this video. There's more to come. Thanks for watching.